Hello everyone, and welcome to my Northrend Beast guide. If you attempt to do this on heroic mode, then you gotta know that every 2.5 minutes the next boss will also spawn. But if you do this on normal mode, then the next one won't spawn until you have killed the current one. So in phase 1, the tank will also be impaled every 10 seconds. This will do a bit of damage, but also leave a bleed on the tank, and this will last for 40 seconds. The thing about Impale is that it can stack. Therefore, it's also gonna be important that the off tank will start taunting when it reaches 3 stacks, else the bleed will be way too high. In case one of the tanks get way too many stacks, then you can always use your Blessing of Protection on the target to remove the debuff and the stacks. For every 20 seconds, this boss also casts Staggering Stomp. This will do a lot of damage to any target within 15 yards. And no matter how far away you are, then you will also be silenced for 8 seconds in case you are casting while the stomp is being used. During this encounter, some people will also be attacked by these snowballs. They will be carrying bombs that they will throw, and this firebomb will do damage, but also to anyone who stands in the fire. So depending on how long this fight will last, then there will most likely also be a lot of fire in the room. That's why it's gonna be important that people are being spread. The player with the snowball on its back will not be able to attack it, so the rest of the raid will need to help. Else the snowball will continue to stun, interrupt, and also do a lot of damage to the target. When Gormok dies, then it will be important that you finish off the snowballs before you start attacking the phase 2 bosses. So in this phase, you'll be fighting 2 different bosses. Dreadscale will be moving from the gate and enter the room, and Acidmaw will come from the ground. Dreadscale will be able to move for the first 45 seconds, and Acidmaw will not be able to move for the first 45 seconds, so it will continue to stand at this position until it will start swapping. After 45 seconds, they will swap position, and all of a sudden Dreadscale will not be able to move, and Acidmaw will be the one that will be able to move, and this continues to change for every 45 seconds. During phase 2, you will need to move out of the slime pools. These will be casted and last for 30 seconds, and during the 30 seconds they will continue to grow. So make sure never to move into the slime or you will take a lot of damage. Sometimes a random player will also receive the Burning Bile debuff. This will do fire damage every 2 seconds and also to all nearby allies within 10 yards. But the good thing about this debuff is that it's gonna help your raid in one way, because there's going to be another debuff that you can receive, the Paralytic Toxin. This is a debuff that does nature damage every 2 seconds. It also reduces the target's movement speed until they'll all of a sudden also be paralyzed. So if the tanks get paralyzed, they're also gonna die quite fast. Therefore, make sure to use your burning debuff on all targets with Paralytic Toxin. So after defeating the 2 worms, you will also move into phase 3, where you need to kill Icehowl. Icehowl has an ability which is called Ferocious Butt. This will do a lot of physical damage and also stun the target for 2.5 seconds. So when the tank is stunned, you also gotta make sure you spam heal the tank. And for every 20 seconds, he will also be casting Whirl. This will do AoE damage to all nearby players and also knock them back. As a good tank, you would try to position the boss, so when it does Whirl, it will also knock back the melee DPS right into the wall. That way, they don't have to spend a lot of time moving back to the boss. All ranged DPS and healers should also try to spread away from each other, because Icehowl has Arctic Breath. A breath he will channel for 5 seconds, and anyone who stands in the cone will be frozen and take a lot of frost damage. So as a paladin, this is also a perfect time to use your bubble and divine sacrifice. There's 2 more abilities you gotta be aware of. Massive Crash is where Icehowl will jump into the middle of the room and knock back all players to the edge. This will do a bit of physical damage. And right after, he will target a random player and start charging towards it. So make sure to use anything that can increase your movement speed and get away as fast as possible. Because if you're hit by the charge, you're pretty much also dead. So right after the charge, Icehowl is now also stunned for 15 seconds, and his damage taken is increased by 100%. So during the 15 seconds, it's also gonna be important you use all your burst cooldowns, and make sure not to use these before the charge. On normal mode, the player that is about to be charged also receives a movement speed buff, but on heroic mode, this is not a possibility, so you will need to increase your movement speed by yourself, or at least just make sure that you blink away or do something else to prevent the damage. If a player dies to Icehowl's charge, then he also receives a buff for 15 seconds that will increase his damage and attack speed with 100%. So as a hunter, make sure you remove this buff with your Tranquility Shot. So best of luck with the first encounter in Trial of the Crusader, and hopefully you also get some amazing epic items. For more Wrath of the Lich King guides, make sure to check out the channel. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!